This is part of our journey, exploring some of the best public lakes in the south of France. With this unusually warm spring, the conditions couldn't be better. With everything waking up early, we've got rods ready, the gear packed, and we're excited to start this next part of our journey. And our first stop is the Tang Dooo, just outside the beautiful town of Hortsfort, known for its peaceful surroundings and great fishing spots. It's the perfect place to kick things off. So this is actually a new method of spotting. You really get the extra distance when you get your other section of the rod, and helps with the weight as well. We got here a couple of hours ago, sun's setting now, spent the whole time setting up. We've had about 5 hours sleep in the last 24 hours. Like, it's just been a bit of a mad one. I've been informed that this lake performs very well fishing the opposite margins, so I'm fishing the opposite margins. I've been informed that the lake's fishing really well on the opposite side of the margins, which is almost 26 wraps, 25 and 3/4, and it's kind of hard to tell, but it's quite snaggy along there. It looks quite snaggy. It's got loads of dead trees, broken branches, so I'm switching over to chods, which I wouldn't normally do, but that way I know I can get the cast in tangle-free, have bait presented. So I've put boilies out, mainly a boilie mixture, which complements the chods. I haven't got a lot of boilies left, so I've put out about 10 spods. I've seen a fish show on that side, so I'm feeling fairly confident, but I'm going to get the 3 chod rigs on now, wrap them up, and one by one start getting them out there. I've had some sleep, I've had a baby white bath, so I'm feeling a lot better today. I just need to get these rigs back out. I lost a fish earlier. We didn't have the camera, it was quite early this morning. It's a shame, but you can't win them all. I'm not going to put any more boilies out. I think I'm going to wait, because we haven't really had like a load of bites. So I think I'm more just going to wait for, I don't know, 3 o'clock or something, and then I might put 1 spom out on each spot, and sort of see where we go from there. Wow. Absolutely flew off. Really wants those snags. Oh, I apologise about my hair and looking a bit homeless. That's just the vibe at the moment. Wants that tree. I'm very nervous about the tree. actually see. That deep. Sometimes when you're deep into a session and locked into that carp angler's mindset, you can forget how dangerous these situations can actually be. What you're about to see is me trying to free a fish that got tangled in an old, submerged tree. It had clearly been there for a long time, rotten, unstable, and definitely not something to walk on like I did. I then came back and put a life vest on because honestly, no catch is worth your safety. In the moment, I jumped in to catch the fish, but couldn't manage to get it free. Then what? When I got back to the tree, I ended up unhooking the fish and setting it free. As much as I could have edited this to seem like a funny or a heroic moment, I don't want to promote something reckless. Learn from it, be smart, and always put safety first. That being said, watching this back myself reminds me how much this sport really captures me. You know what? I may not have got the fish in, but I didn't leave it tethered to a tree either, so that's something. Final thoughts, feelings? I think I need a swimming lesson. I'm not very good at it, and I just swam next to a huge dead animal in the water, so I've had a tetanus jab, but I probably kicked it with my bloody leg, so I might want to put some antiseptic on that. There's nothing worse than being fat and a failure. After the chaos of losing that fish, things just went from bad to worse. Bite after bite, we lost fish after fish. Nothing seemed to be going our way, so we made a call, we took a step back and watched the sun dip behind the trees and lit a barbecue. Sometimes that's all you can do. Reset, recharge, and see what the morning brings. Which wasn't much better, but something is better than nothing. Oh, I finally had a carp out of here. Definitely not the biggest, possibly one of the smallest, but at least I can say I've had a carp out of this lake before we pack up. Yeah, you know what, it's just nice to be able to get a fish out of here. It's definitely been a struggle, this place. I think it's time to pack up, move on to the next place, and hopefully we can have a bit more luck. Yesterday, we were absolutely exhausted. We made our way down from Lac Du Cocos or Tang Dooo to Lac Du Surel, which is where we're at now. It was absolutely hectic yesterday. We had to stop at 3 different places, which wasn't suitable for fishing. Although it might seem like we prepare sort of where to go, even if we do a list of like 4 to 5 places to go, it doesn't always really work out that way. Sometimes you get random close seasons, algae blooms. They'll close off the gates with sort of no sign saying why. It changes every year, and you sort of just have to go with the flow. We got here last night. We were absolutely exhausted. I fell asleep at 8 o'clock. I didn't wake up till about 11 a.m., which, if you know me, that's very unusual. It didn't used to be, but my sleep pattern, I normally like to be up quite early, especially when I'm fishing. I try and get up before the sun rises or a couple of hours beforehand, just so I can see if any like showing fish. That's just not been the case at all. So it's about 3 p.m. now, and I'm just getting the rods out. And I feel like it's important just to be honest about that. I by no means see myself as like a professional angler or aspiring to be a professional angler. I'm a professional carp seeker of adventure. The plan now, I have set up 2 rods on spinners. This is the 3rd rod I'm setting up on a spinner with a heli drop lead. What I'm going to be, my left rod will be on the heli drop lead, just because there's a lot more snags and weed going that way. I'm about to go out on the boat, find 3 spots for me to drop my rigs on. So I'm hoping in the next hour I have all my rigs ready. I'll be able to go out there, drop some bait, put some markers out, and fingers crossed be able to drop my rods on them quite accurately. And yeah, if I've done my job right, hopefully we'll see a fish at some point. So I've just got the last rod out now, and hopefully they're all on the spot. You probably can't see, but I got 2 markers out there. It's my first time actually using markers, so I'm not sure if I'm meant to leave them out there or not, but I'm about, I don't know, 2 or 3 rod lengths behind them. There's no one else here fishing now. Lake's quite empty because it's Sunday. So we've got the lake to ourselves, so I thought there's not really much harm in it. So we've got our last rod out. We're looking quite good, I think. We're on 3 spots now, which are quite clear, quite happy with. This lake's like completely clean underneath, so what I've done, I found spots that are like, I've got a 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot, and they sort of like bar down. I assume this was built, well, when it was turned into a reservoir, this section was done later on. I assume anyway, it seems like almost man-made the way it shelves. So really what I'm going off is structure rather than anything else. I've not seen any fish shows. I've not really seen anything. There's no features. There's no, apart from the shelves. But if I'm being honest, that's sort of all around the lake that you've sort of got that. So I think just from experience back in the UK, like 6, 7, 8 foot, that sort of seems like a nice depth. Got the waders so I can go out. So it is a bit small, the swim. Well, the swim itself isn't, but the bank sort of like coves in a bit. So I've got the waders to walk out. It's about 3 or 4 foot here. So it's shallow enough I can go out, and I think I can play the fish quite safely. And we got the boat anyway. So if anything does get snagged, we're able to get to it safely. But as I said, it's a relatively clean lake. Doesn't feel any snags, no weed, anything like that. So I think it's pretty game on, actually. I don't know, actually.
No.
Every time I think it's big, I get it wrong. So I was just about to walk down to the other swim.
Fish net.
and we've got our first fish. So we've been gifted with what feels like a 20-pound mirror. I'm not going to weigh him or her, but what a great way to start this off, eh? Been fishing for about 3 or 4 hours. Wasn't sure how, wasn't sure about the spots we were in, but I think it's safe to say we made the right decision. So just before it gets too dark again, I'm going to go out on the boat, put the rod back out, and hopefully we can catch a few more. If they look anything like this, I'll be very happy. Nice and peaceful. Hey. What a stunning common. Yeah, really chuffed with that. It's been quite the baiting program for the last couple of days. I have a thunderstorm right in front of me, which is a bit nerve-wracking, and my rod's going off. If you let me to do all the fish I have first. Slightly smaller one. Oh my god, it's so hectic here. We need to slip this fish back and try and get dry. After a few hard days fishing, we decided it was time to take a break and explore the local area. We headed to the town of Chinon, a beautiful place with rich history. Chinon dates back to medieval times and is famous for its fortress overlooking the Vienne River. It was a key stronghold during the 100 Years' War and even hosted Joan of Arc when she met Charles VII. Walking those old streets really puts things in perspective. After soaking it all in, we came back, reset the rods and got the barbecue going. I made some homemade burgers using a recipe I picked up from a good mate back in Norway. Just what we needed to refocus and get back into rhythm. Goodbye, my friend. Is that now? This trip's definitely been a lot different from the last one. So as you've probably realised, I've bought myself a boat, which I actually think is like one of the best purchases I've actually made. But it's also it's very different style of fishing. And I was saying to Phoebes earlier, it's changed my view on fishing now to a point that I'm starting to understand the typographies of lakes a lot better. When I say typography, like the bottom, like when I'm looking at a fish finder or looking at sonar, which I don't have on that, but I have the app Fish Depot, which shows what other people have scanned before, and being able to find them going out there with just a marker rod and being able to then feel that because I've pushed the oar down or just like my leading rod, and it's given me a much greater sense of how the lake bed actually looks and feels. And I feel almost now just as comfortable fishing to the middle as I do fishing to a margin or to a snag, because that's the majority of my fishing has always been to a feature, like a visible feature, like above the lake. So whether that's like an island or like a snag, a tree, or fishing to the opposite margin like I was on the previous lake. And that's sort of like been the bulk of my fishing, and I've always been quite intimidated by the idea of just going to a 50-60 acre pit like this. One of them was 300 acres that we were on, and just doing a splosh in the middle of the water and being like, do you expect a carp to come through here like on its journey? That's like, that seems huge. And what I'm starting to learn is it's actually like finding features there's just as many features under the water as more than there is above, and you've actually got a lot more choice. And in some sense, it's a nicer way of fishing. Like the setup that we have now, I've got time to get my waders on and play the fish and get out there and land the fish safely. There's not as much pressure to get to the rod as quickly like when you are snag fishing, and there definitely feels like there's a higher catch rate associated with that. So I'm definitely enjoying this style of fishing, and I'm hoping I can sort of take it back to the UK and improve my angling in that sense. So I'd say that's definitely a great purchase. I think before I've always been put off by the idea of boats, and sort of I love the Chris Yates era of angling, and I'm starting to realise actually what I love is carp fishing, and what I love even more is understanding like the puzzle a bit more.
Good job.
From a public lake that someone recommended. My back's killing me, I can barely hold it, but it's just such a stunning fish. I just feel so lucky. Oh, so grateful. There's moments like this that makes my angling feel so special. But the important thing is now getting back in the water, get her back in the water, and we've actually got another fish in the net. Not quite as big, but mate, when it's from places like this, you're just grateful for anything that comes your way. And I tell you what, right now I'm feeling really grateful. I am. I'd say that's one of the best moments of my angling right there. After landing what I'd honestly call the best catch of my life, the rods didn't stop going off. Fish after fish, everything seemed to click into place. My smile couldn't have been any bigger. It's those rare moments in fishing that remind you why you put in all the time and effort. Eventually though, it was time to wind down, pack up the rods, and head back to the van for a well-deserved good night's sleep. So we've packed up now. We've actually had a really good trip. We've had, probably about 15 fish now, which I think for public alone, I'm really happy with, just knowing that I'm on spots, I'm fishing presentable. And I am a firm believer, if you can catch a 10-pound carp, you can catch a 40-pound carp. Like the mechanics of your rigs work, and you're in a spot where carp will be. And I've had fish, well over 30 pounds here. So, it's given me a lot of confidence in my angling. Actually glad to be able to record one of the best trips of my life, fishing trips of my life. I've not been able to do anything like this before. The winter one was good, but this just feels so much more like wholesome for me in so many ways, which I know probably sounds a bit over the top for carp fishing, but this is something I'm really passionate about, something I really love, and I really feel like I've elevated my carp fishing with this trip, which I've not really been able to say with most trips before, just all the stuff I've been able to learn. So yeah, thank you for watching if you've made it this far, and I hope you all catch lots of fish.